Yeah, no problem. I'm happy. I'm happy to do it. That was really a childhood dream, So I watched a lot of movies and got fascinated basically by movies storytelling. And so when I was 10, I really said I want to make movies. So at that point, it was tough to film because it was basically Super 8 millimeter, and then it was the early days of VHS filming, basically. Yeah. So equipment was expensive. And so today everybody can start filming with the cell phone, basically. But in that times it was harder, and it was not like something my parents or whatever was connected to. So I had to basically do something, getting into the business or getting into film. From a little town, I came from Germany, so to basically trying to get any contact to the film industry was not easy. Yeah. So what I did was how I get free movie tickets was the first initial thing. So I went to the movie theater in Leverkusen and said, I print a program for you every week, and I distribute it as advertising, and in exchange, I get free tickets. So they did the deal. It was a good deal for them. And then I put on the back of the program, I put advertising for restaurants on. So I got also like free food in some restaurants. So it was like the first moving into business. And then I tried in the to read a lot, like all the books about filmmaking, filmmakers, etc. And they were like in the film house Cologne, where sometimes like you can basically pay $200 or $100, and for 2 days they do an editing course, or they do a filming with the 16 millimeter camera course. So that is what I did first to get into contacts also with people. In that courses, they were also sometimes a little better connected as me. And so the first job I got was like a production assistant in a TV documentary show, where I was standing on the street regulating the traffic. But so that was like, I was like at that point 18, 19 years old. So it was not fast enough, but I tried where I can to get a contact to the film industry. At the same time, I started filming short movies, and I wrote applications to get into the film universities. So at that point, it was only Berlin and Munich, but they didn't took me. So, and then I went as a guest student to Vienna, to the film school in Vienna in Austria. So basically, it was like small steps, but I never gave up. So I moved forward to get, in a way, something done. But that came later. I mean, to finish what I just said, it's like that at one point my friend and me, Frank Lustig, wanted to make movies too. And then we recognized we will never make. I mean, we will never be able to do it if we don't try to get some money together and do a real movie. And that was my first movie, 1991, a German frat movie, where I really went into like filming a scene, a funny scene, and doing a compilation film with a lot of different scenes. And that was the real start of making movies. And I was 26 at that point. It was a lot of work, 8 months of shooting, and we spent 50,000 marks. But the movie at that point got a DVD, like a video deal, and it ran at some movie theaters. So then I made a few German movies. Then I went to US and I made Sanctimony, a serial murder thriller, Blackwood's Heart of America. And Heart of America, I think, is a very good movie. I mean, Elizabeth Moss is in it from Handmaid's Tale and so on. Like, she turned into a big star now. But it didn't make any money. And then this House of the Dead project came to me. They had the rights from Sega, they had the script. So it was really like on a tablet, basically. Like, here, you want to do House of the Dead. And that is how I came into video game-based movies, basically. And it made money. You know, if House of the Dead would failed and never made any money, I would maybe never did another video game-based movie. I would maybe, I don't know, maybe I would still make movies. Maybe I would get definitely better reviews if I never would made any video game-based movies. But because it made money, I had also no real choice. I had not like subsidies or something. So I needed to work cash flow positive. You know, that the money comes back in what gets out, basically. And that worked with the video game based movies various times in a positive way. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think it was really connected to Resident Evil. I like the George R. Romero zombie movies, like Dawn of the Dead and so on. There were movies that really, I really liked them. They were really creepy in a way. And, but in a way, I had the same idea with the House of the Dead, what they had with Resident Evil, to make the zombies faster, make like some things basically were the same. And but of course, I felt like Resident Evil, also like the Underworld and so on, they take themselves too serious. So I felt always like with the thing like House of the Dead, based on a video game where you just shoot zombies, should be also kind of campy, like a little cheesy campy humor should be in. So the reason I hired Clint Howard, I hired Jürgen Prochnow making fun out of Das Boot as a captain. So I didn't took it too serious. And I think that was one of the things why fans really went mad with me, because I didn't kept the House of the Dead idea sacred or something. No, I think, yeah. Yes, I mean, I barely had what you said. There was barely content. You know, it was just an island. It was one evil guy, but then all the zombies, and so we made of course the story up, and I mean, that survival horror was big at that point too. There was still Friday the 13th. There was you know, a lot of like Halloween, whatever, a lot of horror serials where you had a lot of like basically the same kind of. You start with 10, you have one left in the end, you know. So I mean, yeah, and I agree. I mean, I have to say, it has this kind of cult feeling to it, you know, where a movie maybe when it gets older gets a little better, you know. Right now, like 3 German movie theaters right now playing House of the Dead, for example. So they called me, they said they do like midnight movies, and so they wanted to play it in 3 different cities. I'm happy about stuff like this, you know, like the people coming back to the movies and saying, look, it's an interesting movie. It has so much. We had the Matrix set up. We had like that turntable. We had like hundreds of explosions. So it's a lot of things happening to make it visual interesting too. I play sometimes with my kid, so my kids are very good. They are like right now, of course, Fortnite specialists, and so I played more when I was younger. The old games, you know, Asteroid or whatever, like shit like this one was very early on, Pac-Man, stuff like this. And then I barely have time to really sit down and play. And I mean, I think video games have a positive aspect and a negative aspect. I mean, it's really like when I see my kid, they play too much. You know, if they don't take it away from them and just put the headphones down and take it off, they would never stop. It's very addictive, video games. Yeah. Totally different. I mean, there were games I had a more like I was more connected to in a way where I felt that is a genre or a story I'm really excited to tell. Alone in the Dark had a problem because Infogrames at that point developed Alone in the Dark, I think part 4 or 5, and then it got canceled, and Atari in LA shut down and everything. And they showed me before some material. So, and I hoped we can do almost a simultaneous release of the movie and the next video game. And then at one point, I was aware the video game will not happen, and the story basically is not really connected now to, besides Edward Canby, there was not a real connection to the other games, and that was not the perfect outcome. To do it this way. I mean, I'd still try to do a lot of action, creatures, and so on. And I mean, I talked in public about that Tara Reid was the wrong actress to do it. That is the thing. I would never hire her again. But at that point, she was really big with American Pie and so on. So everybody knows her. Now she is kind of unknown. Not unknown, but she went down the drain and plays now in Sharknado. But I should get a better actress for her, because I think Christian Slater and Stephen Dorff are really good. Exactly. That is the only thing I could keep. It's basically looking at the ambience of the game and getting that moody kind of that gray, darker feeling to it. Yeah, because I was really like used because I'm my own producer, right? So I was used that I'm the first guy thinking about the movie, and I'm the last guy when the movie comes in the movie theater. From the A to Z, basically, I'm there. And most of the other people, of course, not. They come and go, like the DP, the live producer, the actors. But it's my project, right? So I follow it from the first idea to securing the rights to the script, and then the preparation where we shoot, with what actors, and then shooting it, and then the whole post-production process. I'm very much into like organizing everything. And I think it's the key to, in the end, have also a result where you can live with, but also where you know where the money went, where you just don't accept like that other people taking over, and you just trust what they're doing or something. Yeah, I mean, later when I went basically after Postal and Far Cry, then I did a few second parts like BloodRayne 2, BloodRayne 3, and then I went away from video games more to how I started, with a little more still genre and action, but then also with kind of a political impact. And Rampage was basically a standalone movie about a really ruthless killer who takes the money. That was the first part. And then a few years later, I thought about what would happen to it. Like, what would happen if you think about Bill Williamson is free with the money? So what happened to him? And then I met Brendan Fletcher, the actor, again, and we started thinking, like, what is if a second part actually happens, and what he was doing the last few years, yeah? So it came to Rampage 2, and then I felt after Rampage 2, it needs an end. He cannot get away with this stuff forever. And I felt he gets more political, very political movies. And I think that the strong side of Rampage 2 and 3, because they're smaller budget as Rampage 1, are that it has a lot of things to say about the world we're living in, the corruption, the absurdity we're living in, that we exist, even if we know global warming will maybe just kill us all in 50, 60 years. And you see the politics, they're talking a little here and there about the Paris Climate Conference, but we all know it's not enough. So even if everybody would fulfill the Paris climate goals, we're still dead. So I mean, like, I think the people feel the world is in a way going a little to shit. Look at Trump now. and stuff like this, where you feel democracy is not a given. There are too many people, Le Pen in France, like in Germany, the anti-Euro party, Poland, Hungary are already ruled by fascists. So I see a big threat for all of us. And that I think that in Rampage, we nailed this. That guy, even if he's a high-end criminal, I think he says the truth about the world as it is. And I think that makes Rampage special. That is different as a normal genre movie, where they talk fictional about people, or you have the Bourne Identity or something. It's kind of realistic, but it's not about real people. And in Rampage, we say the names, we say Obama, we say we are not like acting at the movies in a fictional world. It happens not. No, I agree. I was angry about like the world around us, about the facts around us, and also, of course, it felt like they were like my last two movies. Right after this, I didn't do the movie because now in the world, I have the feeling what the people gave up in favor of Netflix and Amazon is diversity, right? So you don't have choices. Like if Netflix doesn't produce you, or Amazon or whatever, or Hulu, you don't make a movie. It's over. And in the real independent film world, how I started is you could sell your movies to Korea, to Thailand, to Argentina. You could get money together from different sources. And that is now over. It's basically if the TV channels or the streaming channels don't pay for the product, you're dead. DVD market is dead basically, right? And I mean, look at like France or Spain or Italy. When I made movies, A House of the Dead, Alone in the Dark, whatever, they were able to pay me $500,000 for that movies, like 400,000, 500,000. And then later Rampage, like little distributors said, oh, it's tough to sell $10,000. That is how the money went down. And for me, it was clear, like, I can do Rampage 3 as my last spending, where you think like, okay, even if I lose money, I want to finish that trilogy. And then I had to basically stop and discipline myself and say, look, Uwe, you're not making a lot of new money. You made some money before, but I also have family, kids and everything, right? So it's not that I have a regular income. So I have to live also from savings, from money I saved from making movies. And I could not continue just spending money. Yeah, because look at the bailouts, right? So the banks got away with murder, basically, and they actually killed people and ruined them. So they lost everything. And nobody got shot. I mean, they were in jail or whatever, right? I mean, think about how many people in America getting killed every year because people shoot people, like nonstop, And nobody went to the banks and shot the people in the head who ruined their whole lives and families. What is amazing? I mean, it's barely understandable. And I felt I want to make a movie what scares people, the bankers, so that they're scared, like, shit, hopefully nobody's doing that to me, to make them more responsible, to make them feel a little more like what you did was wrong. You should be in jail and not like getting billions of euro as bailout. Yeah. And they don't even like protected us for the future now. If the banks fail again, the same shit will happen again. All the taxpayers have to give all the money to the banks, or they say, oh, all your money is gone. Your accounts are zero if we fail. So, and that was the thing what also Obama failed to do. They should really limited the bank's gambling to the money the bank has and not the money the customers of the bank have, right? As the customer of the bank, let's say you have 100,000 customers and everybody has $10,000 on their account. The bank should be not able to do anything with it, but they do. that is the thing what the banks still do. They still loan money at the federal banks against all the money they have on their accounts. And then they do like very high risk business with it, making more money on your money, right? So yeah, but what is that? I mean, if you make more money on money, good. But then you also have to take the losses and you have to be personally responsible for it. If you run a company, whatever company it is, or a small business or whatever, you are responsible. If you lose money, they foreclose on you. You go bankrupt. Like stuff like this. And the banks, they always act like risk-free. Yeah. No, I agree. I didn't fit in anywhere, right? So I never was liked in Germany. I was never really liked in Hollywood. And exactly how you say, for me, I would say I'm just honest and I'm let's say real and clear, and I don't change my opinions only because I want a Hollywood agent or whatever. But like in earlier years, I tried to get representation in Hollywood, like ICM, whatever, like a management company, and they all refused to work with me because they said, I'm too complicated, and yeah, but to be honest, I'm not even complicated. I think I'm, let's say, I'm not corrupt. I don't go there and kiss their asses. That is what I never liked with Wolfgang Petersen or Roland Emmerich. I mean, they went to Hollywood and acted like they were not Europeans anymore and made the most super patriotic movies like Air Force One, all that stuff, Independence Day, a super patriotic military movies in America. And I could never do something like this. I mean, it's and I think they adjusted, they made big careers, they made big money, but I could not sell myself out like this. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, I mean, right now you can basically say good stuff is mostly TV episodical stuff. Whatever, I mean, old shows like, of course, Breaking Bad was a masterpiece, right? So just finished Ozark, the second season. Ozark, I think this first season was better, but a lot of things like this are better stories as theatrical movies. And most of the theatrical movies now, we have this kind of two choices. You watch another superhero movie, how can they act Black Panther was a super good movie? I mean, or should get an Oscar. Black Panther was a good movie, but to think that movie deserves the Oscar as best movie of the year shows already how bad the Oscar movies are now. I mean, it's like, compare this movie with The Godfather or with Apocalypse Now, Fargo, whatever, right? So I think 10, 15, 20 years ago, there were totally different calibers of storytelling, of movies, of great movies. So that now we have to be, I just watched a lot of movies because I was sick, right? So I was laying there and finally watched The Shape of Water. It's a good movie, but it's not the best movie of the year. And if that movie is like the best movie of the year, then we have a serious problem about good movies, So, downsizing was kind of boring. A good idea if we would be all little dwarfs. We the Earth would survive, but it was stretched out over 2 hours. And the movie I really liked was 3 Billboards in Ebbing, Missouri, with Frances McDermott, because it was a real story, a real kind of, and it was not told in a smoothie, sympathetic way. It was hard. And even it was an open ending, whatever. I liked the movie. I liked the movie a lot. But I agree that the state of cinema, the kind of stories they tell, is just boring, and they have nothing to say. I mean, look at Luc Besson, right? The Leon, like The Professional, is one of my favorite movies of all time. You know, and then look at his movies. I mean, Valerian or whatever. I mean, that is stuff. It's just like, I cannot believe it that there is nothing left in him to make a real movie again. Yeah, but it's totally absurd. I mean, the whole story. And when they always criticized films in every detail I did, right? House of the Dead, whatever. But then you see The Shape of Water, and you think like, look alone the logic of the story. There's no security. Only Michael Shannon is basically the director of the facility and the only guard. The only person who will protect one of the biggest secrets on earth is him. And if he's gone, the cleaning woman can go in and have basically almost sex with the fish, right? So, I mean, like, what the fuck? And that they can actually go in and out. What are they were thinking? And I think that is the big problem with a lot of movies where you feel it's absurd. And you know what the Black Panther of before then Wonder Woman, what they hyped up like crazy. That is because we're all victims of the American political liberal bullshit. You know, because they think, oh my God, the blacks, they're all black actors, so that we have to push that movie, right? Or before we have a female superhero. So, and then it's all Hollywood. I mean, Hollywood lives in the total air balloon where, I mean, for us as Europeans, we don't have to discuss that black or white, we give a shit, right? So for me, there is that I'm basically over that racism bullshit. Like for me, I treat a black person the same like I treat a white person, but I don't want to talk about racism. It's just for me, I'm over it, right? So for me, it is crystal clear that everybody has to be treated the same. But in America, where they still are racist and Trump is a racist, whatever, the other side, like the Hollywood rich people, they think they have to defend the whole time the blacks, the gays, the woman, you know, and that whole Me Too movement is the same. Like, what I mean, if you grab drunk at a party a girl's breast when you were 20, your career is over forever. You know, and that is absurd. And that thing like going after like a rapist like Harvey Weinstein, the fat fuck, basically, is right. But to throw everybody out and destroy their lives because they, whatever, told the secretary, I want to fuck you, and then your career is over, is absurd. I mean, it's really absurd. They overdo it, right? So I think that kind of overdoing things is almost in the end the same damage as to not do anything at all, you know. And you remember when they said in Hollywood, we have to cast more black people, we have to cast more Asian people, we have to cast more women. You know, like, yeah, but if you make a fucking movie, you have to write it that it's realistic, you know, and you cannot have like at the CIA, the half people who are working at the CIA are black and women or whatever. If in the real CIA are only 8% black, you have to make a realistic movie. So you cannot cast only because Hollywood wants it, everybody black, you know. And I think that is a big mistake what they're doing, and they totally felt in that trap. Yeah. And then what I just said would also disqualify me already in audit. But they would Uwe Boll, oh my God, you know. And it's so absurd. It's so absurd. But I think I just say how it is. From time to time, yeah, from sometimes. I'm not a lot. The problem is if I take the kids, I have to watch like Jumanji or something, you know. So you cannot go and watch only what you want. But on my list right now to go to the movie theater is Black Klansman from Spike Lee. I didn't watch it. I really want to see it, and I think I will at one point next week sneak out and go and watch it. Yeah, I have a restaurant, And I mean, I work on selling movies still, and I mean, I really wanted to do Postal too, but you know, because I think now is the time to really do it. But it's tough with the financing, you know, and I have a few things in mind um, to basically do something or come back, but right now nothing is on the table. Yes, I don't want. See, I don't want to really stop making movies. I know. But my house, like a zoo, basically. Very good. Send me the link. I will post it. Thank you. Bye. Bye. Bye.